Downtown Fargo, where culture, creativity, and community collide. You've heard the headlines. Now hear what's really happening. Bringing the best of Broadway direct to you. The stories, the people, and the places that make downtown the heartbeat of our city. This is Rocky's Downtown Hour with Rocky Schneider.
Good morning, everybody. This is Rocky Schneider here. This is my second episode of Rocky's Downtown Hour. So let me give a little introduction here. I'm Rocky Schneider. I'm with the Downtown Community Partnership. I'm the executive director there. We at the DCP, we put on the street fair and the parades, and we work with the city on everything from infrastructure to policing issues to just advocating for downtown as a tourist destination, a place to live, a place to work, a place to have fun, a place to make memories. We love downtown, and so we're going to talk about everything downtown. We have a great show for you today. We're here every week at 11 a.m., and we'll try to bring different guests about what's happening on the weekend, what things to look forward to, different initiatives going on, maybe some city officials from time to time. So we'll try to keep you abreast of everything going on. Today we have a couple great guests and some exciting things coming up for this summer. Looking outside right now, I know it's sunny and everyone's looking forward to getting out. I know the sneak peeks we've had of summer have really activated the areas downtown, and amazing where everybody comes outside once it gets sunny. So I'm looking forward to summer. We have two guests, Justin Clark, who's the general manager of the Jasper Hotel downtown. If you haven't been to the Jasper or checked out their restaurant, Rose Wild, it's a great place. But we are partnering with them at Broadway Square this summer to bring a concert series, a free concert series with some VIP options there as well. So we want to get people, we know you love coming to Broadway Square, love hearing live music in the summer. So we'll hear more from Justin on that. Also on the show, we have Emma McIntyre from Folkways. Folkways is the company that puts on the Red River Market every Saturday in downtown Fargo, and night bazaars and a bunch of other things they do. And Emma's one of my favorite people. She's just a ball of positivity, and she calls herself a community cheerleader, and really just kind of I think embodies the best of what we could be about our community. I know it's one of those things where we like to make fun of ourselves. I think we're humble here. We talk about how cold it is, or what is there to do. And Emma's one of those ones that chose to move back to Fargo and just loves it. And so it's great to hear from her. We'll hear more about that. But why we have a downtown hour? Maybe that's a good question I get. Why is this a show? Downtown gets about 4.5 million visitors every year from about 600,000 different people that come downtown. And when you think about our downtown compared to really any other downtown, there isn't one like this until you get to Minneapolis or you go west about 6 hours. And so it's a unique area. I think we all have memories of downtown. And I know growing up, I had no emotional tie to downtown. I graduated high school in 1999. And at that time, there was no reason to be downtown. I lived just off of downtown. My parents worked downtown. But there was really nothing there. I think I went to Phil Wong's for some Chinese food as the only Chinese food place in town, and it was delicious. But other than that, I don't really have any memories coming. And then as I left the area for school and heard some revitalization going on, people started coming downtown. It's just changed in 20 years. And so it's so fun lately to see people with stories to tell and emotional ties of being younger and coming to downtown. Because I know growing up, I didn't hear any of those. People didn't have fond memories of downtown. Now we have these emotional ties as businesses change hands, life cycles through businesses go over. And it's just really fun to hear those stories. And I want to make sure my job here is to make sure that those memories continue, that people keep making memories downtown. We keep it a vibrant place, makes up a huge area of our tax base in the city, and is really a driver for tourism to the area. About half the visitors, half of those 600,000 people that come to downtown every year, half of them aren't from Fargo. And so about a fourth of them aren't even from the region. So it really is it's kind of maybe the first view that visitors get to the city. When you come here for work or to visit, you're coming downtown and taking a look. You want to see the stores. You want to see Broadway Square, what's going on. You want it to be activated. And so we've spent a lot of time, promoting those events and things, but we're also working on the other side of things. There's been a number of articles this week. I think WDAY ran one, The Forum ran one. We're gearing up for summer. We're collaborating very closely with the police officers, harm reduction staff, other businesses that are doing events downtown, making sure that everything's going to go smooth this summer. We've worked with the city commission and the police chief on increasing some penalties for enforcement, giving police officers some more tools for engagement, making sure we can take care of the problems going on downtown as well. We do have an increase in homelessness that is maybe impacting the customer experience downtown. And I think homelessness is a separate issue in itself that downtown has sort of just become the face of, but people don't start homelessness downtown. That's just where they end up sometime. What I think the real issue, though, is targeting those bad actors. And that's what we're really trying to kind of sift through what's going on downtown. And how do we get to those bad actors? It's not just the homelessness problem. I think that just gets attributed because it's an easy word for people to remember. But if you don't get held up on how people say things, I think we're all on the same page that we need to give more attention to downtown. We had a storefront education series with the police this week where we had over 50 storefront workers that came in, heard from police what they're planning for initiatives this summer. The police have bought some new equipment. They're going to have these fancy electric trikes to kind of get more mobile but still be pedestrian friendly. I think that's going to be really neat to see. Along with the increased enforcement, we have school resource officers that will increase the number of police officers downtown, and we saw that work last summer. School resource officers are amazing. I have a teenager, so anybody that knows dealing with teenagers, if you can deal with that, you can deal with just about any type of person. So they are really fun to see downtown. And it's just been really great to work closely with the police officers and better understand the issue, better understand what storefronts go through, and then kind of all work together. I think the thing that was really neat about our storefront class we had was just the collaboration, seeing that storefronts, the police, visitors, just longtime citizens. We have about 5,000 people that live downtown. We're all on the same team here. And I think being able to celebrate our area while still addressing problems is going to be key, keeping that positivity. I want to keep making those memories. And I know when we have events like we're coming up to talk about with Justin from the Jasper Hotel, we're going to talk about these concert series. People want to be downtown. Whenever there's an event, it's packed. And so I think what we want to do is make sure that those events give people the best customer experience possible. We have a new parking ramp opening up on MP Avenue this summer, so that's going to be another game changer. I know parking still comes up, but man, we got a lot of parking ramps and a lot of spaces open that, plenty of parking once you discover them. And so what I like to do is use those events as a reason for people to come down, pack the house, find parking spots. The next time you come back, it'll be a lot easier to figure out where they all are and how to get there and navigate them. But yeah, so this is Rocky's Downtown Hour. We're going to be every week at 11 a.m. on WDAY. My goal with this is to talk, directly to the news of the day. Downtown is a packed community. It's the most dense area of the state. We have about the same population as the city of Horace. And so there's a lot of people downtown. And during the day when, all the employees are activated as well, it's a major, metropolitan area now. And so I think I want to address the headlines, but also address what's going on at the events and all the businesses, the couple hundred businesses we have downtown and all the fun things that they're doing, free, paid, cultural acts, great food, great concerts, everything going on. Give people so you can plan your weekend, but also get some news of the day as well. So coming up next, we're going to have Justin Clark with the Jasper, and you want to stay tuned to this and mark your calendars because we have a series of concerts coming up at Broadway Square. Welcome back, everybody. This is Rocky Schneider on Rocky's Downtown Hour. With me right now, we have Justin Clark. He's the general manager of the Jasper Hotel. He's also one of the folks helping me bring the Sound of Summer to life this summer at Broadway Square. We have a new series. It's called the Broadway Square Summer Music Series. It's going to be the first Wednesday in June, July, August, and September. We're going to have free concerts, free community concerts with a potential VIP upgrade if you're interested in as well. But Justin, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Justin, I think pull that a little closer to you here and make sure we're on. So Justin, you're fairly new to the area, just under a year here, and coming from New England. What brings you to Fargo?
Yeah, I came in September, and I'm in the hotel world, so I move all around from New England originally. But for me, it's the Jasper Hotel, Rosewild, with both Kilbourne and Aperium, to bring great luxury food and hotel stays to the Fargo area. And Fargo's great. I've been here a couple times before, but you have the whole city, everything you want, but that small town feel like New England, which is nice.
Yeah, I feel like we're more than a map dot now. I think we've got a name for ourselves, and we still need to work on growing that. But what's different about Fargo than what you expected? Even with your visits here, you get a sense of it. But now that you've been here a while, what's new or what's different?
The people. I mean, everyone, you get to know people. You actually can build relationships where if you're in Napa Valley or LA or New York, you're not getting that. You're a number instead.
Love that, yeah.
How I always say it, kind of like New England, if I break down on the side of the road, I think someone's going to stop for me. Unlike in a lot of places now.
That's a good thing here. Yeah, because okay, so we have Broadway Square. This is right next to the Jasper Hotel. I'm the administrator of Broadway Square, and together we're doing this music series. Your sort of brainchild. Let's do this concert series. Well, how did this come about? Tell me about it.
For me, music kind of ties a community together. It gets everyone out and about, meeting old friends to listen to it, or meeting brand new people that you haven't met before that are in your community. I've done it at other properties in the past, and I think it's just a great way to get the community together, something fun to do during the summer, especially the summertime. People want to be outside, and Broadway Square is such a magical place for that, right? In the heart of downtown, there's so many great things to do around it. It's a great thing to have.
And I love this because, most people around here in the summer, I'm sure you've learned, we go to the lakes, which is this nebulous term that we all say and everyone just kind of nods along like we all know what that means. The lakes isn't one place. It's a huge geographic area. But the best part about these concerts, it's a Wednesday night. Yep. Everybody's still in town. Everybody's looking for something to do, waiting for the weekend, get through that hump day. This is a Wednesday night concert. So it's a free concert at Broadway Square, but with the Jasper Hotel, we're working on a VIP option as well. Tell us about what that means.
Yeah, VIP option. We'll have an enlarged patio during the shows, so you'll have reserved seating there. You'll get a 3-course meal through Rosewild, drinks included. We'll also have the merchandise for each of the artists there. So you'll be able to meet and greet with the artist, get autographs if you want, get pictures, and kind of that meet and greet approach for these artists that are coming in. A lot of them for the first time to the area, and others that are like Mason Jennings that's ingrained in the area.
So tell us about that, because you've really led this effort with getting musicians that I think are bigger names than what we'd expect for a local concert. And so tell us about what names we have coming up.
Yep. So Mason Jennings, obviously a lot of people know here from Minneapolis. Great. Yep. Phenomenal. I got into his music 20 plus years ago. Opening for Jack Johnson is how I found Mason Jennings in New England. We have Jeffrey Folkways coming in on July 2nd. A little more country tinged, a little blues to it. Still that singer-songwriter, great music for all ages. Deb Talon's going into that, little more of that indie folk pop music. She was in the band The Weepies, which was a big band, did albums with Mandy Moore. And then Mark Aureli's in September, and that's kind of cool because it's a bucket list for him to come to North Dakota. He hasn't played in North Dakota. Everyone knows him in New England. He's a huge singer-songwriter. He produces for great artists, side band with Josh Ritter. He's played with Roseanne Cash, just all kinds of great artists. And they're all a little different, but they're people that are huge in other areas. And I wanted to bring them to Fargo for them to get new fans, but also for the local area to be able to witness these incredible artists.
Yeah, what I love about this is you started mentioning these names. So, Mason Jennings, Jeffrey Folkways, Deb Talon, Mark Aureli. I was pulling up all these names on Apple Music and trying to make a playlist so I could, get pumped up for this summer. But what I like it is everybody can like this music too.
Absolutely.
They're each unique, but it's, it's folk, it's indie, it's country, it kind of crosses genres that everybody can sit down and enjoy. If you're, my mom's about to turn 80. If she's 80, wants to come out, she can listen to it and enjoy it. If you're a college kid coming back to campus at NDSU, you can come out and have a good time. And so, my hope is that we know we're going to have hundreds, if not 1,000 or more people at Broadway Square and in the area. You're going to have a VIP setting. I'm hoping all of downtown can really wrap around this too, knowing that we're going to bring all these people here. Can this be a community event? And I just love that you're bringing this community together. I love that feel of this. So where do we find out more information about the Mason Jennings concert?
Yep. Everything will be on jasperfargo.com. We're also putting it out on all of our social media. I know you're going to put it on your areas, and we're going to put it into all the local Facebook community.
We should see some heavy branding probably starting next week. And so we'll have it on downtownfargo.com, Jasper Hotel if you want to get the VIP options. Yep. But right now, mark your calendars. The first Wednesday in each month. So June 4th, we're going to have Mason Jennings live, free in downtown Fargo. This is going to be great. We've already called ahead for good weather, too, so that's always important to do. Say a little prayer and have a good time. But, I think this is something that hopefully becomes a tradition, and we can really activate Wednesdays. Because Wednesdays, we're all just sitting there in the summer waiting. And so it's fun. So it's June 4th, July 2nd, so before the July 4th holiday, August 6th for Deb Talon, and then September 3rd for Mark Orelli. And what else is going on at Rosewild and Jasper? You guys always have things going on. I see a lot of ads, a lot of guests come through, concerts, and different people stay there.
Yeah, we have a lot of things going on, especially May. New menu rollout in May. We'll have a new brunch going on. We'll have yoga up on the 5th floor terrace again this summer. That's going to start at the beginning of June. Chef's tables coming back to Rosewild in June. We have a special celebrity chef that it'll come out fairly shortly, but May 28th. Save that on your calendar. We have a celebrity chef coming in that has a cookbook coming out that will be coming in and kind of taking over the restaurant in partnership with Rosewild. So a lot of fun things. And then this music kind of ties in our package for the season for rooms is the suite soundtrack of your summer. It's all based around music. So we're going to have DJs around. We're going to have a lot of live music this year at the Jasper, and also on the art side to try to get the community down and things to do.
Yeah, it's been fun just being downtown because I was there for breakfast, had breakfast with somebody once, and then Willie Nelson walked by me, and the other day Josh Duhamel walked by me, and that's like it's just a little town of Fargo here, but man, we get a lot of acts through and a lot of celebrities through downtown, and it's fun. They all like to stay at the Jasper, and it's a good place right on Broadway there. Rosewild. Tell us what is Rosewild? I bet a lot of people still haven't been to Rosewild. It's still fairly new, still finding its identity. I think it's some of the best. I think sandwiches and fries is usually because I go there for lunch, so I get my fries and sandwiches. But tell us about what's the vibe at Rosewild?
Yeah, you get all the vibe, which is a good thing. You can, whether you're in our dining room or in our lounge, you can have a burger at any time. You can have it for dinner too. You can get a ribeye steak out of our hearth oven, made right there where you can watch them making it. It's a Nordic flair, but it's also the menu's going to change up based on the season. We want it to be fresh ingredients, stuff that's great for the season. Chef Ryan is very creative in coming up with that menu that has that Nordic flair, has kind of that Fargo flair with it, but also has that kind of fine dining touch that you can have as well. So you can kind of touch everything. And then we have a new beverage program coming. Our food and beverage director, Kyle, came in. He's a beverage expert, and we're doing all kinds of fun stuff with the beverage program as well. And then on Wednesdays, when we have the concert series, is our Wine Wednesdays. So you get 50% off a bottle of wine on Wednesdays from 5 to 10.
Yeah, I love
which
that.
Would be great. Yeah.
So let's talk about patios because as much as we're a winter community, we love our patios. Yep. And so during this concert, June 4th, Mason Jennings, free concert, you have this VIP upgrade. The patio expands, and you have this, but tell us about the patio experience.
Yep. And it's hopefully mid-May. It's always weather dependent in Fargo, but we're hoping right around Mother's Day. Just to have that outside feel, right on Broadway and then wrapping around to Broadway Square. So it's great seating, great views, enjoy the outside. And then for those nights, we're going to have, these great meals that you can have while watching a concert, which you can't always do. It'll also be, the food and beverage will be available for guests coming that aren't in the VIP package. They can still get drinks and food from there and go sit down. But
so can you buy the VIP packages right now?
It's going to be for sale next week.
Next week,
yep.
Okay.
And through Rosewild. Yep, absolutely. And, of course, limited seating. There's only a certain number of tables that can fit out there. But it's a way to have that reserved. You have the table the whole time. You don't have to worry about your spot. And you get a great meal with it. You get drinks. The bar's right beside you. So you can get drinks for the night and enjoy.
Maybe I'll give a shout out to our social media channels too, because I know the Jasper has a great social media channel. So does the Downtown Community Partnership. We have Downtown Fargo on social media. So we post every week on what's happening on the weekends. We'll post all the information about where to get the VIP tickets for this and all about the free concerts that are coming up this summer at Broadway Square, the Broadway Square Music Series. First Wednesday in June, July, August, and September. We have June 4th coming up first with Mason Jennings. So plan your day around that for a hump day on Wednesday, June 4th to come down, free concert, and stay a while. You can shop anywhere up and down Broadway. You can eat at Rosewild or you can eat somewhere else. The nice part is you can bring it over to Broadway Square and still enjoy music. You don't even have to be next to the stage. You could be a block away and probably still hear the music. Have a good time. It's going to activate all of downtown. The whole region hopefully comes out for this. Has a great time. So the Jasper Hotel, is it the jasperhotel.com? Is that the...
JasperFargo.com.
JasperFargo.com.
Yep. And we have Instagram, Facebook, all the pages. It'll all be coming out through there. Yeah, we're excited.
So we have free concerts coming up. So what else is going on? You have this May 28th. You have a celebrity chef who you can't drop the name of yet. Is this what you're telling me?
That is correct.
You're not breaking the news here with us?
We will next week. It is, let's just put it this way, they're on TV. They're also fairly local, if that's an idea for you. So it'll be great to have her coming in on the 28th.
See, we're starting to get drop the details here. Okay, a her. All right, so not Gordon Ramsay. So we're starting to eliminate people. So that's great. But yeah, I'm a big fan of celebrity like cooking shows. That's what my family and I watch. It's always a good time. So I'll have to plan my calendar on May 28th to come out to do that. What else is happening? You know, what else kind of gets you excited about this music? Why music?
I think it's the glue for a community. I think when you think about, especially in the summer times, you're thinking about music that is playing your soundtrack. And that's kind of why we're pushing the soundtrack. We have our own soundtrack with a lot of these artists on. As we sign the other artists, we're going to put them on our soundtrack. So we'll have our own Spotify, Jasper Hotel, if you want to check it out for the summer.
I love it.
But it gets people together. And not only that, the music we're choosing is really for all ages.
For everybody.
Everyone will enjoy it. And these are very, very well-known, renowned artists that, and some of them haven't been here before.
Well, I appreciate it. So it's coming up June 4th, Mason Jennings free concert at Broadway Square. Justin, thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to having you back to talk about more concerts.
Thank you, Rocky. Appreciate it.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm joined here by Emma McIntyre in studio. Emma is the Manager of Development and Partnerships with Folkways. Emma, first of all, what is Folkways? What is that? Who is that? What is that?
Thank you for asking, Rocky. Folkways is a local community nonprofit. We're based here in the Red River Valley, and our mission is to combat loneliness and isolation. We do this through events, experiences like the Red River Market, Night Bazaar, Chris Kindle Market. So you might not have heard of Folkways itself, but I'm sure you've certainly heard of our programs. Yeah,
what I love about that is that description goes somewhere where most people don't take it. You know, usually when you start with you're combating loneliness, you're talking about, you know, maybe a mental health professional or something like that. And you take it a totally different direction that, no, combat loneliness is you create events that people want to go to and connect with people. And it's just so like real world implementing of the solution, not just talking about it.
Yes, exactly. Events are the perfect on-ramp for participating in community. Like one of the stats that we track at the farmers market is how often did you see somebody that you didn't attend the event with, as a measure of tracking community connectedness. So we know that like 62% of people that come to the farmers market see somebody that they didn't attend the event with but bumped into.
Yeah, you know, even when I put on my sunglasses and hat and try not to see people, you still see people. You can't go incognito there, and that's a great part. It's the community, right?
Exactly.
The community comes out. No, and I love Folkways. I told this story before, but you know, I used to get invited to every little event when I was on the city planning commission, and I got invited to this weird little pop-up park at the old SARS place that was kind of weird. They had Rip Your Float, so I brought my kids, and I'm like, I don't really know what they're doing or what this is, and you know, now I'm a top fan on Facebook of Folkways events, and so it's been fun. It's taken off, and I think we have some of the, you know, it's what people do on Fargo on Saturdays, right? If you're not going to the lakes, that nebulous area, the lakes, you're going to the farmers market. That's what you do in town.
Exactly. And that's a part of building community, is creating regular experiences. Like you have to have that regularity to it to build over time, which I think is something that makes the farmers market especially the pinnacle of community gathering.
So so you're doing farmers markets more than just downtown?
Yes.
They've already started?
Yes. So we do 4 off-season farmers markets, one in February, March, April, and then May. 2 of them are at the West Acres Mall. Those are all set and done for the year. And we just had our Moorhead Market on the Concordia campus, which was an absolute delight. We transformed the inside of the Olson Forum complex into a farmer's market with umbrellas, blue blocks, tents. And then we've got an upcoming farmer's market in West Fargo in the POW MIA Plaza.
So those are all fine, but they're not as important as the downtown Fargo farmer's market. No, just kidding.
Yes.
So when does it start in downtown Fargo on 2nd Avenue there?
Yes, so we'll kick off the weekend after the 4th of July is a good way of remembering it. So
that's a good way. Yep.
Go celebrate the 4th of July and then meet us in downtown the following Saturday to kick off the farmer's market season.
So farmer's market, I think I've been to farmers markets all over the country, and they're all different.
Yes.
So what do you think kind of makes yours unique? Obviously, you have local produce, and I swear every time I go there, there's some sort of different type of local produce, like the mushroom guy. I don't even know what his name is, but selling all the different types of mushrooms, and you look, I'm like, I bought one, and I wanted to try cooking with that, and I don't know what that is. But I just love it. So what makes this one unique?
I think the Red River Market is unique in the additional programming that we do. So some farmers markets, you'll go buy produce and then leave. So, I mean, you're not there interacting with your community in a really extensive way. However, we know at the Red River Market, we do live music. We've got blue blocks out. We have alcohol vendors there, so you can grab a drink and hang out while your kids play on the blue blocks. Live music. And then I think our star program that maybe isn't talked about as much is our SNAP match. So if you're an individual that takes advantage of SNAP, which is a supplemental nutrition assistance program, we will match $15 of your SNAP every single farmer's market. So that way you get greater access to local produce, which we know is more nutrient dense, and then you support local farmers at the same time.
No, that's great. You're kind of wrapping so many things together.
Yes.
And I love it. You have live music there as well. And if you don't know what the blue blocks are, I have an 8-year-old boy but my biggest problem is leaving the farmer's market because he'll just want to sit there and play on the blue blocks forever.
Yes.
And he loves it. And he gets kind of mad at the other kids when they try to take from his castle. And I'm like, you cannot build the castle with all the blue blocks. You have to share. And so it's a good opportunity to come out, and he gets to meet new people as well and learn how to play and share and everything else. And so the blue blocks are just awesome. And you just got new blue blocks, so we have more than ever. They're nicer, they're cleaner, everything again.
We've got double the blue blocks, which is great. So the Drecker team came in and they matched our blue blocks. So we were like, hey, we need new blue blocks. They're looking sad. They're looking sad. Little kids bite them. They throw them in the fountain spouts. We needed another set.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
What's your go-to vendor at the Red River Market? What's Emma take home every week?
I have been dreaming of Namaste Chai's chicken tikka masala tacos.
Yum.
Oh my gosh, it's like chicken tikka masala on a little piece of naan bread. And it is so scrumptious. I'm talking now and like I'm salivating.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I love Indian food. We don't have enough. We don't have that in downtown right now. So it's farmers market brings that. Hopefully they can find a storefront they can move into as well. And so that's one thing I love about the farmers market is if you have a sort of a side gig, idea, passion, try the farmers market out. It's not a huge commitment to come down on a Saturday, see if people like what you're making. Either, if you're making bacon locally or, jarring honey or whatever it is, come out, try it. It might turn into a business. And that's what I love about it. It's almost like an incubator for small businesses.
That's what I've been saying, Rocky. So for $50, a tent and a table, you get to meet 5,000 of your potential new friends every Saturday. Yeah. And it's a great way to trial run a product with live customer feedback. I mean, we're in the middle of vendor applications right now. So if you're considering a business idea or you've got one that you've started and you need to reach more people, I mean, we have vendors that participate in the farmers market with brick and mortar spaces just to help promote their brick and mortar spaces. So Bear Creek Winery, for example, will hang out at the market on Saturdays so that way people can learn more about their location and the product that they make. Because it is oftentimes you go to the market and the person that's handing you your taco or handing you your carrot is the person that grew it, which is, I think, such a good exercise in empathy, small business education, and then ultimately community building. Where when you go to Bear Creek, you're like, oh my gosh, I know Sean because I met him at the farmer's market on Saturday, and now I get to go visit his space.
Okay, so the first farmer's market in downtown is July 12th.
Yes, there we go. That's the exact date.
And you're Emma McIntyre.
And I'm Emma McIntyre.
Who is Emma? I've heard the story. I think it's similar to a lot of us that left Fargo and didn't ever plan to come back. Mm-hmm. I think this has been probably true of not just Fargo, but a lot of communities across the state. Fargo's no different than everywhere else. Young people like to go out, leave the nest, totally normal. You kind of hope they come back, live close to mom and dad, look close to family. For a long time, we struggled to get people to come back.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So, tell us, why'd you come back?
Well, Rocky, I was born and raised in Fargo, North Dakota. My dad's a farmer, and my grandfather is a pharmacist. He started a company in Fargo called Prax. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Yep. But him and my mom worked together really closely for many years. And with two family businesses in Fargo, I was dead set on leaving. I didn't want to stay in Fargo long term. My parents both went to Fargo North. I went to Fargo North. I was like, I'm getting out of here. I can't stay here long term. And then I went to TEDx Fargo because I was on the Fargo Youth Commission. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like a city youth commission.
Very good, yeah.
It's so cool. And they paid for us to have free tickets to go to TEDx Fargo. And it showed me a completely different version of Fargo than I grew up in, which is so silly because it was in downtown. It was a space I'd always had access to, but I'd never seen it used in that way. And left eventually for school. So I went to school in Greeley, Colorado, in northern Colorado, but more so with the intention of coming back. And that's exactly what I did every summer of college is I would come back and I would intern for TEDx Fargo, which was my dream job as a kid. And it completely changed my relationship with the city that I grew up in.
And now we're lucky to have you in our web in downtown Fargo.
Oh, I'm lucky to be in Fargo.
But the best part is you're spinning your own web. So my daughter's 13, and I've told you this story, but I forced her to come to the night bazaars, which I think are my favorite events. There are Thursday nights through the summer, once a month, and they're different themes. But I kind of forced her because I knew she'd love it.
Yes.
It's quirky, it's different, nothing like that's happening anywhere else. And I forced her to come, and then the next month I said, hey, it's happening Thursday. She's like, yeah, I'm already going with my friends, Dad.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, okay. And I walked away, and I was like, yes, Dad win. But it's like, that's what you want, right? To keep building the web that you got caught in, and keep catching other young kids that come back. And now all she wants to do this summer is come down and help me downtown. And so I think it's just great that we kind of keep moving that on, keep creating those memories, generational goodness, right?
Yes. And I think a key part to your story about your daughter and my story and growing up in Fargo is there was an invitation.
Mm-hmm.
Is somebody invited me to attend TEDx Fargo. You invited your daughter to come to Night Bazaar, which is so important in the work of building community or getting other people brought into the fold of participating and showing up, is looking at somebody and saying, oh my gosh, we haven't hung out in a month and a half. I'm going to go to the farmer's market. Would you come with me? Right. So they can experience it for themselves.
So if you didn't listen to my first show 2 weeks ago now, because the Good Friday was 2 weeks ago, but I had Emerging Prairie on here talking about Startup Brew as well. And I just love our downtown events because you can go by yourself, and that's normal.
Yes.
It's so rare that you can go by yourself to an event almost anywhere and feel like you fit in. So yeah, you can go by yourself to the market and you'll be fine. You'll meet people, you'll hang out, you may leave with somebody.
Yes, exactly. And my favorite, what was it? We just did the Moorhead Market at Concordia. And I don't know if you know Jenny Olson. She's just starting over at the Concordia team. And she said that she ran into a neighbor that she hasn't seen in 30 years because her son goes to Concordia and they were on campus visiting him and decided to pop by the market. And she suddenly ran into this neighbor that she hadn't seen in years, but they both just so happened to be at the farmer's market at the same time.
I love it. So farmer's market's coming up every Saturday starting July 12th in downtown Fargo. We're going to have Emma back with us after the break. Emma also is serving on the Fargo Convention Center committee. So we're going to talk about the convention center coming up. Welcome back. We have Emma McIntyre joining us again. So Emma, not only, you work at Folkways, put on the market, put on the night bazaars, you're on the Great Plains Food Bank board, you're very civically involved, and you've just chosen to be on the Fargo Convention Center committee. I think that's what it's called.
Yes.
One of, 8 or so people, 9 people, something like that. And so the voters passed. So I think that's always good because people are like, wait, why are we spending money on this? And it's like, this was a voter approved initiative last election to put on the lodging tax, additional money to put a convention center. So maybe just on a high level, why is a convention center a good thing?
Convention centers are great for tourism. And I don't think people are fully aware of how much tourism is an economic driver in our region, specifically with sports and athletics. But the one thing that we do miss out, as far as North Dakota's largest city, is we don't have a convention center. So we get passed up for conferences, activities that we just can't fit in Fargo Moorhead. And the nice thing about the tax that was passed is it comes out of lodging. So it's a 3% lodging tax over the next 25 years that would allow us to build a convention center in Fargo Moorhead to help support the need that we currently have, which is we can't host large-scale conferences in Fargo Moorhead. And they go to Bismarck, they go to Rochester, they go to St. Paul, but we don't get them here in the FM area, which is a major loss economically for our community. So
it's a tax, but it's really like a tax that's paid for by the people also using the convention center. So it's people coming to town. It's not on sales tax, not property tax, not income tax.
Nope.
So it's if you're staying at a hotel, you pay this. So maybe some locals go to a hotel for a fun event or swimming pool or something, but primarily it's paid by people coming to town anyways. So I think that's great. I know I go to a lot of conventions over my career, and I spend a lot of money when I go somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's great for that community, not so great for our community.
Exactly. You're eating out. You're not making food at home. You're experiencing more of what Fargo Moorhead has to offer. And we see a lot of this with sports right now.
Yeah, so wait, so we have all this money that's coming in. Why do we need this committee? What's the committee doing? Is it just meeting to meet? What do you guys, what's your goal?
That's a great question. So the committee specifically is coming up with the request for proposals outline. So we're coming up with the request for proposals outline and then also the scoring metric that will be used to determine who is going to be asked to build the convention center.
So yeah, I suppose there's a lot of ways to do a convention center. A lot of places to put it, a lot of sizes, a lot of needs, what type of shows you're trying to get the right size, because you don't want to be too big, you don't want to be too small, too versatile, whatever the case is. And so where are we looking at? What you guys just went on a couple trips. Like, where have we gone to see, like, hey, what's a cool convention center? Yeah,
so we recently went to the Rochester Convention Center and then the St. Paul Convention Center. Both are really fascinating projects. I mean, one was built in the last 20 years. The other one had built more previous to that. And they work in very different models. So something that we're also having to consider with the convention center is the way in which it's run. Is it run by the city? Is it run by a private entity? Is there a hotel attached? There's a lot of variables for us to consider when creating the rubric for weighing the project.
And, I think the one area of this that everybody seems to weigh in on, like the comments on Facebook, is where is the convention center going? Do you know where it's going?
We do not know where it's going. That's a part of the RFP is
so who
location.
Who decides ultimately?
So it'll be determined in the rubric of where the location is identified in conjunction with, which is why the rubric is so important, to weigh each variable against itself.
Yeah, rubrics are important because nobody knows what the word rubric means.
Right.
So that's great. So you'll get all these proposals coming in and you'll score it, basically.
Yes,
and then
exactly.
the city commission goes, yeah, this is the highest score. Let's go with this one.
Yes, exactly.
That it? Yeah, so that's cool. What do we think? Like, how many people does the convention center bring in a year? I don't know if you have those stats off the top of your head. I should ask Charlie Johnson in here sometime, because I bet Charlie's just got these stats off the top of his head. And, it's going to be a huge loss for the area. Charlie from the Convention Visitors Bureau, now called Visit Fargo Moorhead's retiring after 80 years or something. But no, so Charlie's great. He's leaving. We're going to have a new person there. But Charlie's really ushered in this convention center. So I think it's going to be great to see them. But I know the tourism side of this is huge. And so I don't know if you have numbers.
I don't know all of them off the top of my head, if I'm being entirely honest. It's something that was great about the trip that we had to Rochester and St. Paul was it allowed us to conceptualize the square footage of the space. Because for people who don't exist fully in venues, I mean, we're talking 50,000 square feet for a ballroom. What does that mean? And to see it was incredibly helpful. So
if people want to weigh in as the public, like who are the elected officials on the convention center committee?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's myself. I mean, you're looking at Shannon Full, Kent Kolstead, Taylor Snelling from Mezzaluna, and our emails should all be publicly available. I know I've received some emails personally from individuals in the community, which greatly appreciate.
Yeah.
It's great to hear other people's perspectives on it, especially some of the feedback that we've gotten was what would it look like for this to serve as a music venue? Something Fargo misses out on just based on the sizes of the spaces that we can offer, especially in downtown Fargo, is another music
So what's
venue.
the timeline? When do you guys hope to have the RFP out?
Hope to have the RFP out by May. I would maybe bet that that's going to be extended a bit.
Yeah, that always happens. That's fine.
It always happens, yeah. But we meet every Friday. So.
Just to recap our show here, we have a couple of huge events coming up this summer. July 12th, the start of the farmers market every Saturday. And then also the first Wednesday in June, July, August, and September. We have free concerts coming up at Broadway Square. June 4th, Mason Jennings is going to be there. So that'll be great. And I'm going to kind of change focus on you, because what I don't like to do is there's just so many people downtown. And I'm always worried someone's going to be like, how come I haven't been on the show yet? I got cool stuff going on. So I want you to think outside of Folkways, outside of your sphere, who's doing something cool that you just look at them and go, wow, that's awesome. I want to go to that. I want to be a part of that. I think they're doing awesome stuff.
I think the work that they're doing in the Parachigo space is really fascinating. It's a group of young individuals who have created a physical makerspace, essentially, in downtown Fargo, across the street from Nicole's, if you know where that's at, kind of over on 8th, I believe. But they're hosting free and dry events for specifically Gen Z.
Very cool.
Which is fascinating. They say Gen Z drinks the least of any generation prior. And so some of the events that they're doing focused around not having alcohol present are really interesting.
Yeah, that's probably a whole show in itself on that economy. Yeah. I know for the bars downtown and our social media pages on Downtown Fargo and Instagram, and we've done a lot of sort of NA stories just about all the different NA options. And every time you go to a menu, that's huge. I think that's a neat thing. We'll see. Once you get the stressors of adulthood, sometimes that changes, but hopefully they stick with it because that's awesome for them. So Parachigo on 8th Street, that's a cool shout out. I like that one.
Yeah, absolutely. They're doing some fun stuff. And I mean, not to say that...
What is a makerspace, really quick?
Yes, a makerspace is essentially a collective physical location that hosts artists that create in the same building. So let's say you don't have space in your apartment for an art studio. You can all gather in the same art studio downtown and have space to create.
I'm going to throw another lightning round question at you. So you've been involved. You mentioned the Fargo Youth Commission. You're on boards and the Civic Center Committee. More people need to get involved.
Yes.
why, how do you get involved if somebody out there has an opinion?
I think the beautiful thing is all of our meetings are publicly posted. And I mean, League of Women Voters, for example, is a great on-ramp into figuring out how to participate civically.
Sure.
I think my fear has always been I'm not educated enough to participate in civic matters. However, that doesn't change unless I show up and learn. And
really, downtown doesn't thrive. The region doesn't thrive unless we have people that get involved.
Exactly.
Like you. Appreciate your involvement, your civic activity, your professional activity, and really just Emma's positivity. We all need to be better about talking about our community. We all love to complain, but if you're going to go out there, spread joy about our community. That's
Yes.
what I'll ask everybody to do today is spread joy. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you downtown.